terrorize the actors playing like they want some drama. I'ma chop 'em with a chopper till I motherfucking drop.
Stack addict, I'm Mac with the blackest fabric. I'm back, I'm magically racking it. That's when I'm ducking rat-a-tat-tats. I'm running the trunk of a sucker shit. Matter of fact, it's the ass and even the crack. Automatic facts, it's like that. Scam of bliss when you put in villains in charge of shit. All of us targeted, all we doing is arguing. Harder to miss they work until every pocket's been picked and sold and harvested. I'm ready to mob, but these fucking charlatans. Charlatan, 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 charlatan. In a city to crime, hearts fried, all this neon is ripping us up inside. Immortality's out of bounds, it's a one-round ride.
I got 1 round left. Cops outside, I could shoot at them or put one between my eyes. So
you so owe me, but I'm nice. You do not get to just die. You try to fuck with my brother, you get the bastard surprise. Hey. Ooh la la, ah wee wee. Ooh la la, ah wee wee. Hey. Ooh la la, ah wee wee. Hey. Ooh la la, ah wee wee. 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 Ooh la la. Looking for M's like I lost a friend. Jump out of my bed like where the bread. You go hold the egg. Waiter bring the check. When we talk, we collision cars. Keep us in your thoughts, fully dressed at the crack of dawn. Weapons letting off, I can hear them from the block. See them creeping through the fog. Season's greetings, now feeding season can start. Oh my God, look alive, looking like I live life on a crooked line. Doing fine, you want maximum stupid, I am the guy.
First of all, fuck the fucking law. We is fucking raw. Stay tall, oysters on the half shell, sushi bar. Life a bitch and the pussy fish. Still fuck the raw. I'm a dog, I'm a dirty dog. Ha 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 ha. Oh dirty bastard, go in your jaw. Shimmy shimmy y'all. Got the simmy in the himmy. Go and gimme y'all. Pugilistic, my linguistics, RJ Ruder damage y'all. And I rap it, pornographic, beat set up the camera.
Ooh la la, ah wee wee. 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 Come on. Ooh la la, ah wee wee. You covered disruption, I got you covered, I'm busting. My brother's a runner, he crushing, it's no discussion. I used to be Muskin, I wasn't supposed to be nothing. Y'all fuckers corrupted and up to something disgusting. My pockets are plumper this season, I love to cup 'em. I'm afraid of nothing but nothingness, ain't it something? Warmongers are dumping, a point and click at your pumpkin. You're suffering disruption, so put your kids in the oven.
Fuck a king or queen and all of they lost subjects. I pull my penis out and I piss on they shoes in public. People, we the pirates, the pride of this great republic. No matter what you order, motherfucker, we what you stuck with. I used to love Bruce, but living my vida loca. Help me understand, I'm probably more of a joke. When we usher in chaos, just know that we did it smile. Cannibals on this island, inmates run the asylum.
Ooh la la, ah wee wee. Ooh la la, ah wee wee. Ooh la la, ah wee wee. Ooh la la. DJ Premier. Ooh la la. Ooh la la la. Ooh la la, ah wee wee. Ooh la 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 la. Here come the menaces to sobriety, like what? Super thuggers thumping on the cut.
My motherfucking Uzi weighs a ton. Hit the drum till you hear it go ba-dum-bum-bum-bum.
Run, piety just really isn't us. What a rush, see you cutting up a pie, that's my lunch.
Run, yo motherfucking pockets when I come. It's an honor to be robbed by Denise's only son. Yeah, ever ready, baby boy, bitty, moving extra heavy, whipping Chevy. Gotta get it, eat spaghetti with the monster. Vegan bitches feed them dick cause they don't eat no steak and lobster. Sosa was my hero, homie, Tony's just a fucking hustler.
Out of mind, out of touch, out of time. Man, I smoke a bogey backwards with a thumb up like it's fine. Sleep this up, I say.
You get a fast car, I want a ticket to anywhere. Maybe we make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Starting from zero, got nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove. You get a fast car, I got a plan to get us out of here. Been working at the convenience store. Managed to save just a little bit of money. Won't have to drive too far. Just cross the border and into the city. You and I can both get jobs and finally see what it means to be living. See, my old man's got a problem. He live with a bottle, that's the way it is. He says his body's too old for working. His body's too young to look like his. My mama went off and left him. She wanted more from life than he could give. I said somebody's got to take care of him. So I quit school and that's what I did. You got a fast car. Is it fast enough so we can fly away? We gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live and die this way. So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast I felt like I was drunk. City lights lay out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car. We go cruise and entertain ourselves. Still ain't got a job. Now work in the market as a checkout girl. I know things will get better. You'll find work and I'll get promoted. We'll move out of the shelter, buy a bigger house and live in the suburbs. So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast I felt like I was drunk. City lights lay out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car. I got a job that pays all our bills. Instead of drinking late at the bar, see more your friends than you do your kids. I'd always hope for better. Thought maybe together you and me find it. I got no plans, I ain't going nowhere. Take your fast car and keep on driving. So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast I felt like I was drunk. City lights lay out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. get a fast car. Is it fast enough so you can fly away? You gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live and die this way.
Discover equal when you undercovers. We would discuss injustice. Centuries we suffer from auction blocks to record covers. Beauty and canvas gauge painted by the other. Jane Doe, bitch, whole baby mother. Niggas in these roles, afro color. Want us to back it up, gyrate and yell freedom. Tell us have patience. Sister waiting on the 40 acres. Mule of the world abused by folklore. Black bodies eroticized supply stores. Lady to lady, I understand for sure. Minds ignores the wounds free to explore.
She gon' say she's equal to man. She gon' say she got power like man. She gon' say anything man to herself she can do. She gon' say she got power like man.
Lay it down, spread them out. We write your story as you can, a mind close your mouth. Play the background, your backside, cash cow. Turn around, guess you more the ass now. Wait a minute, we've been holding this shit down. Backbone of the world since before sound. Black girl, Lord C, when a woman found. Leaving on the next Greyhound across town. Sister cop the window seat, Badu style. While the wound bleeds the wounds of the deep south. Can't wash it out, shit is real, conjure rebel. Put us on our knees, make us fiend to clean down. Keep it real, you afraid when we speak loud. When we scream, you seen a ghost in the haunted house. Simmer down, it's the black, you can't bleach out. And the story we gon' breathe in and breathe out. Ladies.
But lady, not be so. 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 Lady, not be so. Lady, not be so. But lady, not be so. But lady, not be so. Abiri, abiri, lady, not be so. Abiri, abiri, lady, not be so. Abiri, abiri, lady, not be so. Abiri.
cosmic breath, the air element. Find strength in the mental, the thought behind the rhymes consequential. The flow's decked in space boots, leaping over lunar tombs. Write lyrics in runes and play them use. Inspire fate to paint predestinations, landscapes. For the awakened imaginations are stargates. Whistle, I'm listening, the pilgrim of the house of the wind. I'm the emissary, hearing voices in the breeze, observing every commentary. Asleep in howling deserts with thorn trees in bloom. Until the spell breaks, I am wolf to the full moon. Wild as the monsoon, glassy eyes like crushed minerals. The patterns trouble some planets, crying rivers of literals. Wooden tears flaking into fragments and splintering. Buried in the earth where dark secrets lie, whispering that the end has not yet come to the place where dreams rest at. I look at self facing the mirror, nothing's reflected. Black stone carbon, I'm stardust, bizarre trust. Quiet part-time mime, invade the mind like archons. My jargon's a headache to decipher. Never idle, the heavy burdens, only light work to bright disciples. And I'm skybound, messenger like Malachi, cardinal offspring of Capricorn and Gemini. Born from a sandstorm, whirlwinds, my burning eyes slay the beast with 7 tongues, electrifying. So I vibrated, coded synergy, linguistics, my Achilles heel. Wading stellar waters, deeper mystic, whistling in the reeds. That cosmic breath, that air element, that finds strength in the mental. Make all doubts of the mind inconsequential. When I'm stardust, bizarre trust, quiet part-time mime, invade the mind like archons.
Rotten apple to the core. Damn, up in the fuck up, getting picked for last in gym. I can't even do a layup. Writing on my sneakers, being sneaky with my teacher, smoking weed under the bleachers, cutting out and gluing pictures. Carrying my CD player, sucking on an hour later. Sour apple was the flavor, scribbling, I do paper, trying hard to pay attention, but I have no real direction. So I say, yo, fuck this lesson, spark the leak, my back is stressing. Who I am and where I'm headed, cutting school and acting crazy. Forced the kid, got me crazy, living with a crazy lady. Every day I'm always late, puffing on a skimpy J, staying in my grandma's house, wasn't even far away. But I guess that's what I do, making life more difficult for me and you. Bart Simpson with the shits, I caramba man, you could go and suck my dick. Skating down the street, being mischievous as shit. This is as good as gon' get. Always cheat on your test. Don't you be like the rest. I ain't no teacher's pet. Lie, 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 lie. If that don't work, then deny, deny, deny. Look into my future was like looking at the sky. Inner city orphan with my hand in apple pie. A liar, a schemer, a cheater, I do it all. I used to switch schools, each coming full. I skipped all my classes and still managed to pass them all. Reading comics in Forbidden Planet. I go home to a place of fantasy outside my own. always been a loner, never had a solid home. I really like Marvel cause characters look just like me, and women don't have roles that make them look too sexually. I lie a lot from getting beaten, put off food I'm not eating, eczema so bad I'm bleeding, but I smile and keep it cheesing. A nerdy girl with nymphomanic tendencies, everyone's offended but nobody here offended me. 90s mommy dressing like Aaliyah, quite apparently. I'm heavy with the theory, I move with the groove. I'm black like Shaolin, I tang with the woo. Africa, my guy with the Bantu do. I'm stupid, fucking crazy, nuts loose like a screw. See, I know my money got raised by the Jews. I'm a New York Puerto Rican, like a rough kind of dude. I'ma hit the barrio and eat some Spanish food and sit in Central Park. I'm in a New York mood. Bart Simpson with the shits. I caramba man, you could go and suck my dick. Skating down the street, being mischievous as shit. This is as good as gon' get. Always cheat on your test. Don't you be like the rest. I ain't no teacher's pet. Boom. Bart Simpson with the shits. I caramba man, you could go and suck my dick. Skating down the street, being mischievous as shit. This is as good as gon' get. Always cheat on your test. Don't you be like the rest. I ain't no teacher's pet. Boom.
We just wanna party, party just for you. We just wanna party, party just for you. Party just for you. We ain't gotta dance, dance and shake the bread. We just wanna party, party just for you. We just wanna party, party just for you. Party just for you.
This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Look how I'm living now. Police be tripping now. Yeah, this is America. Guns in my area. I got the strap. I gotta carry him. Yeah, I'ma go into this. Yeah, this is gorilla. Yeah, I'ma go get the bag. Yeah, or I'ma get the pad. Yeah, I'm so cold like yeah. I'm so dull like yeah. We gon' blow like yeah. You slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. Look how I'm geeking now. I'm so fitted. I'm on Gucci. I'm so pretty. I'm gonna get it. Watch me move. This is Sally. That's a tool. On my Kodak. Black. Ooh, know that. Ooh, get it. Ooh, work it. 100 bands. Contraband. I got the plug on who a hawker. Whoa. They gonna find you like Paco.
America. I just checked my follow and listen. You motherfuckers owe me.
Get your money, black man. Get your money, black man. Get your money, black man. Get your money, black man.
Get down.
hey. This is black man in this world, living expensive foreign dreams. Just a big dog, yeah. My Kindle came in the backyard. From a barbarian life to a dog.
Let it go. Ayo, do this shit in one take. Ayo,
that fire shit, nigga.
Ayo, run it. Check my bankroll, Ayo, 400K for vehicle. Paint job look like ashy ankles on Django. Interior look mango, shotgun grape. He look like mayo. Golden voice on payroll, neck all go like KO. Corp, we aim at doors, get out the way, yo. Keep them bucks in banks like yayo. Swampy niggas out the bayou, pockets flooded. Y'all be dilute, watered down. I'm Big Mac, I'm quarter pound, you chicken nugget. Fuck it, travel back, Balenciaga, 30,000 just for luggage. Financial advisor bugging, flower boy is buzzing. Grammy nominated, tell your cousin ain't nobody fucking with them.
Man, there they go. I cut off some friends, where they go? I stick to the plan, that's the goal. Fuck these niggas, man, that's for sure.
Set. Uno the shoe, red with the blue, look like a flag, what the fuck it do? Gon' be the set, no more F, like Ron Artest, but you ain't for your neck, give a fuck about you. All your respect, yeah, that way, fuck your accolades, but I made the cut like a pack of blades. You could call me Brush, I've been making waves since Ashley Banks, cause it had a fade, but that's 92, I'm 91. Watch Riot in my blood, nigga, what's up? And that pussy pink like the drink in my cup. Lemonade, yes, Minute Maid, I've been getting paid, pockets gaining weight. Your bank statements on Mary Kate, but that's up to you.
Man, there they go. I cut off some friends, where they go? I stick to the plan, that's the goal. Fuck these niggas, man, that's for sure.
Ayo. Tell Tim Chalamet to come get at me. Skin glowing, clear acne. Diamond see-through so holographic. Red ones look like Ada Mackett. Spent the narrow like taxi driver. Handmade is that thing with ties, but I rode the bike in Viltel behind me, and he got the cannon like he bagged Mariah. Yeah, we straight, but if you wrinkle up the situation, he will go grab the iron, and he do what I says like Simon. And my bitch mix like jambalaya. Man, fuck with the fan. We in Japan. Bitch, you a bum, so you don't understand. Yeah, I cut off some friends. See where you been. Bitch, I'm in Bel Air, been looking for land. Need a spot in the hills, not the beach, need a pool just to cool it. I do need the grass, not the sand. Got enough rocks, see, check my hand. And I got crack, watch how I talk. And it's still Wolf Gang, bitch, watch how I ball. While it's still tripping on shit that I bought. But I really do not care the cost, cause I cover.
Mm,
I'm gonna use my phone. Let's see.
okay. It looks good. Guys who are in the Zoom meeting, can you let me know in the chat?
Okay. Susie,
What's up, Big?
I don't know what just happened. It's shit just crashed as soon as. Oh wait, it is working now.
It's delayed.
So now I can hear you, Susie.
In the stream as well. Okay, it's working. Great. We're getting it's working everywhere. How delayed are we?
It's going to be delayed. No one should be listening on both systems at once.
I can't hear you.
Okay, Zoom meeting friends. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I'm not going to touch anything on my end. Jake, you here, babe? Okay. Can you guys hear me on those platforms? What's that? Can you hear me on those? You can? Okay. Okay. All right, guys. I think we might be okay. Yeah. Okay, great. All right. I'm not going to touch a thing because apparently I screwed up. Sorry, guys, for that delay. I appreciate everybody's patience with that. This is extremely, this is a time of many learning curves. And certainly Zoom is one of them for me. And I know for a lot of you guys as well. Welcome to Culture Club 2020. I have never in my life envisioned having a culture club like this, but here we are. I'm so humbled and honored to share the work of these friends today. Friends, artists, writers, musicians, people who mobilize in 48 hours to do this, which is truly incredible, and I'm so honored to be able to host them today. I'm going to say just a quick word about what Culture Club is, and I'm going to read a poem by Jamal May, a poet I really love, a Black poet I really love, and then I'm going to turn it over to our first performer. So my name is Suzanne Hyland. I am originally from Florida, Sarasota, Florida. And that is where this event originated initially. I believe it was 2011 that the first Culture Club happened in Sarasota, Florida, in someone's living room. Which living rooms, that tends to be where these events take place. That's what we like about Culture Club. is the fact that we usually have them in these very homey spaces, welcoming spaces. It's always free. It's always accessible to everyone. And that's something that I really love about those spaces. And since that first Culture Club in Sarasota, it has expanded to take place in Tallahassee and Miami and New York for the past 5, going on 6 years now. And it's been a real pleasure to be able to do it in person here. And I hope we can soon resume our culture clubs where we're all sitting in a circle on the floor surrounding a performer. But until that time, we have the magic of technology. So a quick note on why we're here today. I am streaming to you live from Flatbush, New York, in Brooklyn. And there are a lot of organizations here that have been doing work for years to support Black people in this community, not only in Flatbush, but also in all of Brooklyn. One of those organizations is called Equality for Flatbush. And it is an organization here, Black-led grassroots organization that focuses on anti-police, anti-gentrification, anti-displacement projects in this neighborhood and across Brooklyn. They are also currently running a can you guys hear me okay? Sorry guys, one second. Jake's giving me
I put you on mute, but this is
okay.
I could hear you too.
But on the live stream you can hear me okay. Sorry guys. Okay, great. So Equality for Flatbush has been working here for a while. And they are, like I said, they're doing different measures. They've been doing different projects, different measures in the local neighborhood. And currently, in response to COVID-19, they have a mutual aid project running called Brooklyn Shows Love. So that's the reason we're here, is to support this very important organization who's been working on the ground here in Brooklyn. And if you go to www.equalityforflatbush.org, I will say that one more time, www.equalityforflatbush.org, you will see an option to donate to the organization, which you can do, and you can also donate to their GoFundMe for their mutual aid project. That project is giving food and medicine to people in the community. I believe they've served 400 families at this point and are looking to serve more. So in lieu of a cover charge for Culture Club, that's what we would like you, we ask you, if you are able to do, is to send some donations in. And then if you can, please share with us that you have donated. Exact amounts would be awesome, just so that we can compile everything together and get a nice final number to share with all of you after the event has ended. I don't want to say anything too specific yet, but we've raised some money so far and I'm really excited. So let's keep it going. Make sure that you send that donation into Equality for Flatbush, www.equalityforflatbush.org, and show us the receipts. You can also Venmo me if you want to. I don't know why you would, but Susie High, SUZIHIGH, and I will send you a receipt when I send your donation along to them. I want to take a moment in the spirit of why we are here today to acknowledge the whiteness of the space that we are currently in, the sharing space. I think it's important, and I've been thinking a lot about how white folks can start to acknowledge things and that they consider maybe to only be personal life based, and to see the connections between one's personal life, one's political life, one's creative life, one's professional life, and to acknowledge that we always need to be doing better and working harder to critically analyze our engagement in all of those parts of our life, and to critically analyze how race and whiteness impacts all of those parts of our life. So I wanted to make that acknowledgement before we move on. I'm gonna read a poem by Jamal May to get us started. And then I will bring our first presenter, our first performer on, which I'm very excited about. Again, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for donating. Thank you for spending your time. Thank you for being patient while we worked through the live stream issues. And this poem is called There Are Birds Here by Jamal May. There are birds here. So many birds here is what I was trying to say when they said those birds were metaphors for what is trapped between fences and buildings. No. The birds are here to root around for bread. The girl's hands tear and toss like confetti. No, I don't mean the bread is torn like cotton. I said confetti. And no, not the confetti a tank can make out of a building. I mean the confetti a boy can't stop smiling about. And no, his smile isn't much like a skeleton at all. And no, their neighborhood is not like a war zone. I am trying to say the neighborhood is as tattered and feathered as anything else. A shadow pierced by sun and light parted by shadow, dance as anything else, but they won't stop saying how lovely the ruins, how ruined the lovely children must be in your birdless city. And Jamal May, that poem has a postscript, I'm nervous, so I'm blanking on the word, that says for Detroit. Okay, it's my great pleasure to bring up our first performer of the evening, Cindy Tran.
Thank you, Susie. Hi, friends. I'm so happy to be here tonight to support Equality for Flatbush. I've heard so many great things about that organization, so I'm really happy that we're fundraising for them tonight. I'll be reading two poems. This first one, I sometimes like to read because it's a really difficult poem to read. It's called True American Sentences. 1. He looks at my name tag and asks, "What's your real name?" I tell him that Cindy is what's printed on my birth certificate. "What's your middle name?" "Mai." I knew it was in there somewhere. 2. On Franklin Avenue, he bumps into me and says, "Watch where you're going." 3. I stand at a bus stop and an old man turns to me. "I fought in Nam. You're here because of me." 4. On 2nd Street, he bumps into me and shoves me to the side. 5. In an IKEA parking lot, I yield. He signals me to roll down the window of my U-Haul truck, laughs, "Not too bad for an Asian woman," and speeds away. 6. On University Avenue, he bumps into me and says, "You're in my way." 7. In his office, I hear my therapist call me beautiful and call himself colorblind. He says my anger at him is really anger at my parents. He calls this transference. 8. On Olive Street, he bumps into me and says, "Didn't see you." 9. My friend has brain cancer and enrolls in a clinical trial. He asks if I would sleep with him before he dies. When I say no, he asks if I have any Asian friends who could help him. 10. On Central Avenue, he bumps into me and says, "Bitch." 11. A friend lends me money to help me move to college. Halfway through paying him back, he says he can't help, but feel like I owe him something else. 12. My mentor encourages me to embrace my youth and pursue writing. After I turned 21, he asks if he could take nude photos of me. 13. I stand in the aisle at the end of a Delta flight. There's no room in front of me. There's no room behind me. A man gets up and discovers room above my shoulder for his elbow, room in front of my rib cage for his carry-on, and room above my toes for his Oxford. I say, ouch. He says, "Well, excuse me." 14. No is a miracle word that cured him of his brain cancer and kept saving my life. 15. Last week, I heard a woman say, "I will only ever be someone's first Asian girlfriend," and I felt power. 16. Every time a white man went out of my life got better. 17. Every time a friend stands up for herself, I feel her power bring me back to life. My second poem, I just wrote it. I've been writing sonnets during the pandemic, and it's been getting me through the days. I try to write for small businesses, and for this business, I used to go to this fried chicken place once a week, and I would keep bags of salad in my fridge and basically rip apart the fried chicken and throw it into my salad and call that a healthy meal. So I have very fond memories of this place. To Lincoln Fried Chicken. I remembered to eat my almost bad week-old broccoli, still trying to bloom into a June day bouquet. And it's sad to be 90 in broccoli years, doomed for taste, but also doomed for my desire for fried chicken from Lincoln's on 125th, where every wing and thigh has a bit of fire, even the potato wedges get with the spices and chicken grease, dear reader. Is your heart running like my heart is running? Do you agree that hunger is a teacher and this abundant oil is just stunning childhood memories in need of fine gloss? Now, heart, call back blood in times of great loss. Thank you.
Hi guys. 1 second. My name is Elijah. I don't think I've met a lot of you. I know Susie from Sarasota. I actually went to high school with her younger sister, Abby. So I've been a part of this since the beginning, and it's nice to see how far it's come, and it's nice to have this outlet, especially in a time right now. I hope at the very least everyone is safe and healthy right now. It's hard to really think of any other words. I don't know if anyone's really feeling good, but I'm glad we're all here. I am an artist. I moved to New York, to Brooklyn 3 years ago. I have been in Connecticut at my grandmother's old house that's been unoccupied since quarantine. Anyone in New York right now, I'm sending you love and just hoping that you're staying safe through all of this. I'm gonna just share a drawing that I made in response to Ahmaud Arbery's murder a few months ago, but it obviously is still pretty relevant, and I hope one day it doesn't need to be. 1 second. I'm just gonna let it sit on the screen for a minute and kind of share some thoughts about it that might not be super explicit. 1 sec, sorry. Sorry, guys. Okay. So like I said, I made this in the response of the horrible murder of Ahmaud Arbery. And I don't know, I do a lot of different types of art, and I do a lot of art that isn't always explicitly political, but these types of pieces always seem to come out of me when I really don't feel like there's much else for me to say. So in a way, I think these types of drawings for myself act more as poetry than my normal practice does. But I think there's aspects of this that can be addressed that might not be taken away from your initial view of it. I mean, the obvious statement it's trying to make is how corrupt our judicial system is and how unfairly my brothers and sisters are treated on a daily basis, and how white people seem to be able to get away with a lot. But it's also addressing a few other things. I am mixed. My mom is white, my dad is black, and I'm lucky enough that they have both taught me very good morals growing up, and I grew up in a pretty privileged household, quote unquote. So I think the theme of balance is pretty present in a lot of my work usually. This one especially, it's kind of beside, I'm sorry, it's there's a lot going on in my head right now. Basically, you know, the left side, we're looking at a hard black gaze on the white issues at hand. On the right side, we're looking at a dense black force in the middle of not only a white gaze that might not care, but the empty space in my mind also represents emptiness in people's voices that need to be speaking out. It represents nothingness, things that are not being done to help the situation. And the term negative space often refers to white space in general in artwork. And I think that's kind of a funny thing because right now we're seeing white supremacy as the negative enemy. I would like to have everyone talk about the piece, but I know this isn't necessarily the right time to do it. So if anyone ever wants to reach out to Susie to get my info, or maybe I can drop my info in the chat, we can talk about it. One last thing I wanted to mention, I put this piece up for auction yesterday on my Instagram, and I'm gonna donate the highest bid to the ACLU and Brooklyn bailout. So if anyone's interested, or if anyone might know any friends that might be interested in buying this, feel free to reach out. I'll drop my Instagram in the chat. And yeah, I'll also be posting more originals after this to put up for auction for donation. So if anyone wants to stay up to date with that stuff, Instagram's a good place to do it. Thank you for looking, and I'm excited to see and hear everyone else's work, and sending love to everybody. Can't wait to hang out and meet everyone I haven't met in person. Thanks. Oops.
Keep all the behind. I'm gonna call up our next presenter because oh, Jax, you're ready. Okay, great. I'm gonna jump back off and I will highlight Jax.
All right. Hello, everybody. It's such an honor to be here tonight. And I just want to shout out to Susie. Thank you so much for putting this together. It's incredible. And I'm personally feeling like I just need like a moment to just take a deep breath. So if anybody wants to join me, just to take all this in, because this is beautiful and also heavy times. So yeah, my name's Jax. I currently living in Brooklyn, and I'm currently staying in Colorado. I know Susie through my girlfriend Abby, and today I'm going to be performing a song that I wrote this morning, and it's actually a song of my childhood that I'm rewriting, and it just it feels really important to rewrite stories right now. So it's called America. Calling from Colorado. America, America, land of hope and liberty. Freedom rings from every mountain, from sea to sea. America, America, land who chokes on a man who's free. Freedom comes from revolution, from sea to sea. America, America, land that's stolen, never woven. Freedom comes from appreciation, from sea to sea. America, America, tierra de quebranto, donde viene la libertad de mar a mar. America, America, land of excuses from the patriarchy. Freedom comes from powerful action, from you and me. America, America, land of a visioning hope, justice, peace for all. Freedom comes from powerful action, from you and me. Thank you. And I just wanted to say, just during these hard times, it's still important to speak positive, to manifest what we want. We want justice, we want peace. We're all still hopeful. So just to keep that alive. Thank you.
Can y'all see me? Oh. Hi, everyone. My name is Jess Smith, and I am here from West Texas. I teach at Texas Tech University. And I wanted to start by thanking Susie for putting this together and for always being such an incredible force and community organizer. And I also want to thank all of you for sharing your work and your art. I haven't been writing much lately, and I think that after this, I feel definitely inspired to return to it. So I'm just going to read 2 poems quickly for you. Both are just poems about grief. And the first one is called Grief Bacon. Grief Bacon. The sky is very blue today and wide. I wish I'd been the first to evaluate this vision and say blue. The first to stretch my arms as far apart as possible, tugging my beautiful shoulders from their globular sockets, inventing a whistle that sounded, for the first time, like wide. Longer than the sky have things been happening that we have yet to name. We play at piracy, language pillaging, are tickled over Hygge, understand the parameters of Schlemiel and Schlemazel, but cannot define where the mind goes when the body stops resisting, what the horizon looks like there, how the casual observer could mistake the vacancy in a face for tolerance, if anyone took a picture of this, which he did without asking, just the bright, sudden flash, and the second and third sudden flash, the sheets and walls cast to oblivion, by his handheld coroner's lamp. In German, they call weight gained from emotional eating Hummerspeck, which is the sum of grief plus bacon. So perhaps it's a matter of simple addition. The sky is blue-wide, the woman is here gone. Every room we walk into is dangerful, all staring. And then the other poem I'll read, it's a cento, and it's called Things People Say to Me After. What did you do? How much had you had? Has this happened before? How many? I never liked, I always knew. I'll find, I'll kill. I know people. I know you didn't. I know you never. This won't. Everything will. With what frequency? He would have. He would have killed. Do you have someone? Do you have somewhere? Do you still live in the residence with? Will you tell the judge, I'm willing to pay for your travel, your medical, if you just. You killed his. You seem very. I'm calling on behalf of. We know how, these things. I'm going through a separation too. Do you have a, don't move out while it will make him, don't touch his, it was always, I am so sorry I didn't, inevitable. Are you pregnant? How can you miss? How can you still? Would you describe? Just a few more. Stop crying. Why won't you let this? How could you? Who are you to? Who do you think? To ruin his, to hurt his, to make him. Thank you all very much for letting me share and read. I hope that in a near future, we are all in a living room together, as Susie described, sharing our work. Thanks so much.
Hello. Hi. Susie, thank you for having me and setting this up. It's incredible the amount of money we've already raised, and I hope people keep donating. And I just want to thank everyone in the streets right now, or donating, or educating, or having those conversations. Just feels like a really heavy, important time. So I'm really excited to be here. My name is Evan Gill Smith. I'm dialing in from Brooklyn, from Gowanus, and I'm just going to read a couple of poems. So the first poem is from a long series of really short poems, and I'm going to read a handful of those. This series is called In the Valley, What Is? Din of sitcom, sunlit paper curtains, translucent blue container for organizing pills, a plastic bag full of other plastic bags. Something made us and something else doesn't give a damn. Presence in the moment sounds nice, but is impossible. I take a bowl of Coinstars to a Coinstar machine. In a Staples parking lot, one man points and says something. A second man points more emphatically and says something with a wider mouth. We are emptied by the state, then again by the lack of a state. Sugar packets in the rain, sugar in its crystal stump. From there, the ants do burst. Careless life of eating, shitting, sharp stems from torn flowers. Discord seated by an odorous white thread. Bet on butterfly lift from chrysalis. Bet on southern winds holding, falling into months of despair. In the valley, it's a beautiful valley. On the hilltop, there's a view, but you're an asshole. The bluebells hang low today, the fog upon their backs. It's soft, I say. It's soft. I plan to make my words true. The work is to say I love you and mean it without ever having to know what it means. And I teach at the CUNY system, specifically in the SEEK program, which is a program for economically disenfranchised students at CUNY, and it has a rich history of poets and radical educators from Adrienne Rich to Audre Lorde and June Jordan. And I'm going to end today with a short June Jordan poem that I love. It's called In My Own Quietly Explosive Here. In my own quietly explosive here, all silence isolates. To kill the artificial suffocates a hunger. Likely dying underground, in circles hold together, wings develop, still, regardless. Thanks for having me.
Hey y'all. I assume everyone can see and hear me, right?
Zephyr, 1 second. For some reason, I
Oh
can't.
no.
There you are. There you are. There you are. Okay.
Just waiting to get pinned. All right, here I am. Hello. So thank you, Susie, for pulling this together, for rallying donations, for captioning this video and uploading it later. I appreciate all of that. I'm Zephyr Lisowski. I am from Elizabeth City, North Carolina. I live in Bed-Stuy right now. I wrote a book about white violence. I'm not going to be reading that tonight. Instead, I'm going to be reading 2 newer poems, and I have an Access document as well, should you need to follow along. Both of these poems deal with sexual violence. I feel like it's important to say that sexual violence is concurrent and sponsored by and enabled by police violence. Every non-Black person who was active during the Me Too movement has ever been a proponent of rape or considers himself any sort of feminist, bears a moral obligation to show up harder now for this fight than you did even back then. Lest reveal your own hypocrisy. So that content warning aside, I'm just going to read these 2 poems. If you have the money, please donate to Equality for Flatbush. If you can't, help out however you can. Against forgiveness. Was not a monster. His hands were soft, was not an abnormality, was not just being a boy, had no reputation, had no warning signs, was not, quote, going through a personal journey, end quote, kept going for how long, and no one said anything, was a brunette with soft hands, had soft hands. That's the thing about it. His hands were soft. He'd stare and stare, touch and touch, with the soft hands. He'd visit me in my room, which is not an act of mercy, which is not an act of submission. He had no warning signs, but his hands were soft, and he'd ride his bike over to me. His eyes were soft, and he'd show up glistening with sweat at my door. I'd say, I'm sorry. I'd say, come back. I'd say, you've changed. And of course, I believed it every single time. It happened every single time. He would undo me. And still, I said nothing. I did nothing. He had no past histories of misconduct, and I had nothing. Let the mess of him envelope my entire complicity. There is nothing out of the ordinary in any of this, but let it undo itself over again and again. End it. I don't even know how many more people he did it to, but again, let the me able to be merciful burn with the rest of it all. Again, burn everything, even my own involvement, not knowing what would happen next, taking his hand in my hands, anticipating the following visit, preparing to forgive again and again and again until nothing remained. I'll have a drink. This is my last poem. Thank you again. Oh, someone said hydrate. Sweetie, this is alcohol. This is not hydrating me. This poem is about the Disney movie Beauty and the Beast. And Beast. The thing about the story was that the man wasn't even ugly. He just had a big beard. All that cruelty for a beard, wolfine, and maybe a little bit blue. In the movie, he has a ruffled collar, a long hallway filled with hands, a set of keys that do not open anything we see. The beautiful thing about him is that he piled all his wealth and called it beauty. Maybe he was like a father that way. Maybe he took his wives and piled them in the back room. By beautiful, I mean the thing that is the most easily recognizable. All these men, their fierce eyes and little cells and unspeakable wealth. How much is beauty doing something and getting away with it because of everything you've ever had? His eye teeth were pointy, and there is nothing ugly about him. Does he unbutton his blouse before he greets the girl? Does he greet the girl before he locks her in the little room? His eyes, I heard, were dazzling, were like agate. Does the girl talk back? All his wealth, it accumulates again and again. What I'm saying is that anyone can fill a hallway with hands if they can afford enough hands. Thank you. Solidarity to the protesters of Brooklyn, Minneapolis, and everywhere right now.
Unmute myself.
There you go.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. I'm Megan Washington, zooming in from Fort Greene, Brooklyn. You may hear some helicopters, some emergency vehicles, as many of us in Brooklyn have heard. So it's going to be the soundtrack to some of these poems. Thank you, Susie, for providing this space. I hope you all are well. I hope you're taking care of yourselves. I hope all the words tonight, although we're far apart, can, pierce through minds and hearts and bodies in a good way. I'd have a little excerpt from Audre Lorde. These places of possibility within ourselves are dark because they are ancient and hidden. They have survived and grown strong through that darkness. Within these deep places, each one of us holds an incredible reserve of creativity and power, of unexamined, unrecorded emotion and feeling. I have so many quotes that I'm going to try to skip through them. I wanted to read a poem by a poet I deeply admire, Danez Smith. I'm going to try to provide links for everyone so you can sort of follow along. These, there you go, perfect. If you're following along, this poem has been revised, so you'll hear the revised version from me. Say it with your whole black mouth. Say it with your whole black mouth. I am innocent. And if you are not innocent, say this. I am worthy of forgiveness, of breath after breath. I tell you this. I let blue eyes dress me in guilt. Walked around stores, convinced the very skin of my palm was stolen. And what good has that brought me? Days filled flinching, thinking the sirens were reaching for me. When the sirens were for me, did I not make peace with God? So many white people are alive because we know how to control ourselves. How many times have we died on a whim, wielded like gallows in their sun-shy hands? Here, standing in my own body, I say, the next time they murder us for the crime of their imaginations, I don't know what I'll do. I did not come to preach of peace, for that is not the hunted's duty. I came here to say what I can't say without my name being added to a list. What my mother fears I will say, what she wishes to say herself. I came here to say, I can't bring myself to write it down. Sometimes I dream of pulling a red apology from a pig's collared neck and wake up cracking up. If I dream of setting fires to cul-de-sacs, I wake chained to the bed. I don't like thinking about doing to white folks what white folks done to us. When I do, can't say I don't dance. Oh, my people, how long will we reach for God instead of something sharper? This last poem I'll read is written by me and was recently published. I hope I can sort of add this really quickly, hopefully so people can access it. Black/loud. Why she gotta be so? Why is he so? Could they be anymore? They're just so. She can't help being, she's the one in the group. Sorry, I'm stepping away. It was very inside. Looks way too in there. Shh, or they'll think we're all that. Don't talk, don't even blink. Don't be, sing, or seem. I mean, the type of that always makes you contagious. Me and all my friends, even our neighbors, we have people in our family and they all stay. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. If you can't donate, just figure out ways to take care of yourself and take care of those around you. Thank you.
Hey everybody, I'm Miles Francis. I'm a resident of Ridgewood, Queens, but I'm here in my studio in Greenwich Village, Manhattan. And I'm gonna play an improvised drum solo with some guitar accompaniment as well. Thank you.
All right, guys, just gonna jump in here in the middle to do a quick plug once more for our fundraising effort today. We are donating money to Equality for Flatbush. That's equalityforflatbush.org. You can donate either to their GoFundMe campaign that they have up right now called Brooklyn Shows Love, which is focused on getting food and medicinal supplies to local families who are struggling as a result of coronavirus. They have that, there's a tab on the top of their page there, you can donate there. And they also have just a donate box as well that you can just donate to the organization to support their continued work here in Flatbush and Brooklyn, doing anti-police, anti-gentrification, anti-displacement work. I think that this event is really, it's been fun to put on, but as many people have been pointing out, as many, Black thinkers and activists have been pointing out, this work has to happen continuously. And I think that focusing our financial efforts on organizations that both address the current moment, but also who are doing the work quietly when it's not on CNN every single day is really important. So again, thank you so much to all of you for being here. Thank you to those of you who have already performed. We are going to continue moving here. And I am going to invite Heather Simon up. She's actually just gonna walk right here. And I'm gonna change my name
To, is this my name? Yeah, you're right. All right, this is weird. Hi, hello. I'm gonna share my screen so that I can display the poem that I will read. So let me do that first before I talk too much. And yeah.
Yeah, X out of that. You have to take them out of the minimize. Yeah. And then try it again. So you're gonna want to get out of, you want to get out of those saved. Yeah. And then it should work.
Okay, I'll do one at a time. Okay, hey, so I'm gonna share with you all an erasure poem that I carved out of a memorandum from the Environmental Protection Agency on March 26th, wherein they essentially state all the ways in which they will not be enforcing environmental protocols, which they don't enforce already. And my goal here is to carve out some redemption and humanity in the way in which the world is kind of coping with not just the pandemic, but like everything that is trying to enforce and non-enforce, and a lot of conversations that I don't have the bandwidth to even articulate right now. So I'll bring up the poem and read parts of it to you. And anyway, all right. And hi, Dad. I think you're watching, which is exciting. So, all right, let me do this. All right. Wait, can you all see it? Is this it?
Yeah.
This one?
Yep, leave it. Mm-hmm. Wait, bring your shirt down to you.
One sec. Sorry.
Hold on one
Hey.
second, everybody. Okay, so you're. So you're bringing this poem up?
Yeah. Oh, word. Okay. Hi.
No. Okay, click.
So now here you can all potentially see that erasure, and it's called Cement Memorandum. And I'm gonna skip through some parts anyway. All right, Cement Memorandum. Jet over sun, all over land. As I sat, root adjust to the evolving firs and forest. Heel soft swell as you raft. Feel steel over me. Belt dense tractors over organs. Take these insides into sea. Glare waning. Policy red. Force me. F me. Tide low over steps. Rain split place. This policy is effed, and this policy will touch another sea. Will I beg or rise to ribs? Feet under, thrown under to feel. Sand ride air, lost days terminating. Cope. Soil mended enters sea. Soft tractors heel of labor. On rain you feel, on me, or in stones you say. Water, sinking water, sea, bed below, cement dirt bed, soft sentences, cussed separately below. Go spread, key results. As certain consequences, consent decrees, limitations on air, hazardous waste, do not apply consideration under Superfund in a separate pesticide. All right, I'm gonna skip ahead. Okay, 2, I hold A under to minimize the cause. B, if soft on compliance. C, how I was the cause. The sand taken, lands taken. D, too soon. B, monitoring and reporting dents. soft on rain, dense form you. I hold you, exiting permit regulation, practicable due to internal land. Do not expect to seek lab analysis. Rain was the cause upon request. I miss intervals of flesh and the months when a storm comes late. All right, that's it. So thank y'all. And again, donate and just enjoy. I don't know what to do next, so I'm gonna walk away.
All right, guys. I'm gonna bring up my longtime friend Farrell next.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? I think you can hear me. First of all, thank you, Suzanne, so much for putting this together. And thanks for having me part of this. I'm here from Long Island, New York, and I'm just going to be reading 3 quick poems. And I'm nervous, even though I'm on a virtual call. So here are just 3 poems. Border. Broken down to even the moonless soft atom who split the early hours from the night. Rotterdam, sleeping where the woman I'm named for walked, walking before the morning. There was spaceship light behind the clouds, the bridge like a future dreams cathedral. Define moonless, define atom, define flight. Who gets to take flight after the sky took up all the constellations except the pale hunter run stuck above in the scaled black, who sat tilted and bright tiled above the city, who sat alone. There, matter from matter, turned soft, turned away. The next day's rain combed across the harbor. The world takes even the smallest things, keeps taking. And then this next poem is called Sea Creature. The story starts wanting a body filled with the worst, translucent and selfish lights, frilled skin, tentacles to reach into the worst green deep. Mesoglea lies salted, painted, and headless gelling in the matchstick water funnel as it scratches dark. O water noise, under earth churn all motor and strip, solvent of the skin. Consider Tanning's doors. There is the self and then the world, fans out in an open, shut, open dream, a beast at my feet. Sky swaggering, the water a royal, this even split does nothing to calm my phosphorus head and need to have it stuck in radiance, moonless, created by the need to undarken the painterly sweeps of whip of wave, to make ugly, to make me claw and beak my way to breathe, ostracod shells and coral slipping beneath my slickness, even as I am forgotten. And finally, I'll just read this poem because it's my favorite poem to read. To the woman I tried to draw. Your hips were beautiful. If you undressed at the front of the room knew how I was not an artist, pigeon awkward with my drawing, I have a history of trying things I don't understand. Your hips were beautiful, like delicate bent bird feathers, like how I took all those French film courses when I studied Romance languages, how I always had to explain, no, I'm not studying how to write romance novels, how still always I, for a second guess if the Lumiere brothers really were named Light. I was not an artist, I wasn't a film student either, though I could imagine myself as both in the dry light of that big room packed with artists while I tried to draw fuzzy wobbled lines. Your hips were beautiful, how I imagined your pockets deflated in the back room filled with charcoal and photos of the Adriatic sky. Filled with little light bulbs too. How instead of drawing like the men in the movie, I'd rather just look at Catherine and Jules and Jim, big-faced projection at the front of the classroom full of black and white sky. The sky is the fullest thing I know. Suns, neutrinos, grapefruit-shaped planets with their lizard skin, doused in mesopelagic light. I imagine you know this too, even if you never knew how I stood at the back of the room with my back pressed sun hot on the radiator. I have a history of leaning in the wrong place with the wrong language. See how I sneak little seaside citruses in your pockets? We could stay for a second once the room empties. You, my mesopelagic cinematograph bird, with my pocket-shaped dictionaries and your beautiful hips. Thank you so much. Thank you for organizing this, Suzanne.
Hold on one second. There we go.
Thank you very much. Can everyone hear me? I'm going to share a photograph of a painting and provide some prose with that. Can you see that photograph, Susie? Can you hear me?
Yeah, Dad. Full screen. Daddy, why don't you make it full screen?
All
Double
right.
click. And then, yeah. And then maybe if you want to zoom in a little bit more.
How's
Guys,
that?
this is my dad. Shout out to dads. Okay, yeah, that looks good, Dad.
Okay, so I'm Brett Highland. I'm located in Savannah, Georgia. Very thankful for being here. My painting that you see here is now titled, "You Are the Enemy." It's a painting behind a cracked mirror. At the time that I painted this, I wanted to express my frustration, fear, and uneasiness about our present pandemic. However, it also, in many ways, strangely conveys my feelings concerning George Floyd. So who is the real enemy? Is it fear of the unknown or fear of the known but not expressed? Is the enemy all others who also have loved ones, have wives and husbands, daughters and sons, are friends to someone? Who do we trust? Who do we see as the enemy? Maybe we're looking at this all skewed. Maybe the enemy is an unkind word, a thoughtless action, ignorance, prejudice, fear of the other, brutality, a man in a blue uniform? Maybe the enemy actually exists purely in our own minds. Maybe I will rename this painting, "You Are Not the Enemy. You are just like you and me." With that, I will turn it over to Jen. So back to you. And it was great being with you.
Hold on, Jen, 1 second. For some reason. Why won't it? Sorry, guys, give me 1 second. I've lost. Hold on 1 second. For some reason, I can't. The highlight video function is not happening now. Okay, I'm gonna I'll invite him back in. Okay, Jen, if you want to start your video, I can put you on. There we go. Thank you so much.
Hi, can you all hear me? Okay, so thank you so much for having me. Suzanne, thank you for planning this. I'm so glad to be here. Listening and seeing all this beautiful work has been really inspiring, and I'm glad to be able to help support Equality for Equality for Flatbush. So please donate if you can. It's a really wonderful organization. I have two poems that I'm going to read. One is by June Jordan. Someone else here named Evan also read a June Jordan poem. But I'm going to read one as well as one of my own. What connects these poems for me are part of the work that I'm doing right now and that I'm hoping to do going forward is really thinking about my own complicity in white supremacy as a white woman and what does it mean to be a white woman. And so this poem that I'm going to read by June Jordan is called What Would I Do White? What would I do white? What would I do clearly full of not exactly beans nor pearls, my nose a manicure, my eyes a picture of your wall? I would disturb the streets by passing by so pretty kids on stolen petty cash would look at me like foreign writing in the sky. I would forget my furs on any chair. I would ignore the doorman at the knob, the social Sanskrit of my life, unwilling to disclose my cosmetology. I would forget. Over my wine, I would inspire big returns to equity, the equity of capital I am accustomed to accept, like winter time. I would do nothing, that would be enough. All right, and this next poem of mine, I'm exploring a more contemporary iteration of whiteness, which is the Karen. I'm sure you are all aware of the Karen, which is a particular type of white woman that I would like to distance myself from, even as I can clearly see little terrible threads of her inside of me. And this poem is called Karen Thinks Hard, but Not Hard Enough. I should probably be quiet or just say sorry. But sorry is a sorry word. It does nothing but demand unearned forgiveness. Jesus preached forgiveness and also flipped over a table. A period of silence is in order. A period is silence. It orders the end of a sentence. Another word for verdict. White people should be sentenced to silence for the rest of our lives. But I can't stop talking. I voted for Obama, so I don't think I'm part of the problem. I admit I'm terrible at math. The problem's abstract, meaningless glyphs. What if I pictured numbers as bodies? My nation doing subtraction. Like in school, how my teacher chalked minuses across the board while I sat there confused. Not because I was stupid, but because I didn't do my homework. Chose instead Saved by the Bell, weed smoked from a can in a white boy's backyard. White boys I posed for, pleaded to look at me. Or looking out the window of my bedroom, the attic, where I played Rapunzel, cried tears of a damsel. Yes, my distress was real, but myopic. At night, I had to press my nose hard to the glass to see past my own face. Thank you very much, and I'm really appreciative of this opportunity. And I'll say again, please, if you can, donate to Equality for Flatbush. Thank you.
Jake, you are next if you're ready. I'm not sure if I think he's doing a double task right now, Jake. He is going to perform, but he's also our streams. So I'm going to give him a minute actually. And Jen, Jen Liu, if you're ready, I can put you on.
Yeah, I'm ready. I can do it. Hi, everyone. I'm Jen Liu. I'm videoing in from Crown Heights in Brooklyn. I'm going to turn my fan off. I realized I have my fan on to keep me cool. Thanks to Susie and the other performers tonight for doing this for Equality for Flatbush. It's a grassroots POC-led organization that has been doing work for far, far longer than we have. So I just want to acknowledge the people who walk ahead of us. So thank you so much. I'm going to be reading a piece by Saidiya Hartman. I've kind of chopped it up a little bit, remixed it, but it's called The Plot of Her Undoing. The plot of her undoing begins with the man, the sovereign, the subject, the self-possessed, the able-bodied, the reasonable, the gendered, the neurotypical. With the promise that he will do right by her, with the things whispered in the night, with her name and those of her children registered in the farm book, along with the plow and the spades, the whips and the harnesses, with the chart that lists her animal characteristics on one side and her human on the other. The plot of her undoing begins with the word consent, with faking an orgasm, with finishing herself off in secret, with coming quietly, with wanting more, with wanting it longer and harder, with wanting it too much, with not wanting it at all. The plot of her undoing begins with the dispossession and the rule of law. It begins with the great chain of being. It begins with her relegation to the lowest rung. It begins with the restricted sentience of animals and brutes. It begins with commodities that speak. It begins with the rights of man and citizen. It begins with the Pledge of Allegiance, with the stars and stripes, with the Iron Cross, with the dream of belonging, with the division of us and them, with profit margins and returns, with the love of God and country, with a pearl-handled pistol, with the want of safety, with the necessity of war, with a white picket fence, with the NRA and IRAs, with the investment portfolio, with Balenciaga, with the renovation of the brownstones in the hood, with the ordinances about loud music, block parties, barbecues in the front yard, and hanging out on the stoop after night falls. The plot of her undoing begins when he sleeps with her best friend, when he molests her daughter, when he refuses to wear the condom, when he forces her in the freshman dorm. The plot of her undoing begins with the proposal and the ring, with the beautiful wedding, with the black eye and the bruised lips, with the promises to never do it again, with the loneliness that breaks her, with the boredom and the shame, with the inventory of betrayals. The plot of her undoing begins with his claim to the fetus, with the womb made into a factory, with her body as the implement for his future, for his gain. It begins with his efforts to destroy her. It begins when he calls her his bitch, when he says she is nasty, when he swears to turn back the clock, when he grabs her pussy, when he hurts her down there, when he bellows, mine, mine, mine. The undoing of the plot proceeds by stealth. It is almost never recognized as anything at all, and certainly never as significant. The undoing of the plot is blamed on foreign agents and outside agitators and troublemakers and communists. The undoing of the plot does not substitute the woman for the man or topple the hierarchy to become the hierarchy. It does not replace the bad state with the good state or supplant the villain with the man of the people. It does not craft a story of leaders and followers in which she might assume a starring role. The undoing is not for your entertainment, even if it is for your benefit. The undoing of the plot begins because she won't do shit. The undoing of the plot begins when everything has been taken, when life approaches extinction, when no one will be spared, when nothing is all that is left, when she is all that is left. The undoing of the plot does not start on bended knee. It does not begin with ballots or bullets or with an address to the court or with a petition or with demand for redress or with the slogan, no justice, no peace. It begins with the earth under her feet. It begins with all of them gathered at the river and ready to strike, with all of them assembled in the squatter city, with all of them getting ready to be free in the clearing. They don't say what they know. All things will be changed. The undoing of the plot begins with her runaway tongue, with her outstretched hands, with songs shared across the unfree territory and the occupied lands, with the pledges of love that propel struggle, with the vision that this bitter earth may not be what it seems. Thank you.
Difficulties for me.
You couldn't hear me?
It was frozen like the whole time.
The whole time I was reading? Did you hear it?
Okay, guys, we are going to, Jake is working on some stream stuff right now. So we're just going to keep moving down this beautiful lineup of ours. And Eve, if you are ready, you are next.
Okay. Hi, can you hear me? Yes? Okay, great. Wow, this lighting is really terrible. I'm sorry. So, hi, I'm Eve. I'm reporting in from Ridgewood, Queens, New York. And I'm just going to be reading one poem, and it's called I Will Live and Die in This Walgreens. I think we can all agree I'm too lively for this type of timekeeping, for whatever circles I've rusted myself into, being told we have no record of you in our system, having to prove myself here when already I show so many teeth, when already I make so many gestures. We have no record of that in our system. The doctor who cocked her eyebrow asked, is there any reason to be sad? Mimed being sick for sickness. Well, I sat steeped in all that sound. Yesterday, the day before, date of birth, a rat flattened on a sewer cap, tail intact, refrigerator full of poker chips. I meant to take a picture, but I missed or couldn't be bothered. By now, it might surprise you to learn I once crested a cliff in Utah, rose to see the sun swim above it, pulled off to smoke cigarettes in the desert's open swallow, shielded Nika from the reach of dead dogs off the pavement. The point being, I know elements. I am elemental. I have thought about the healing. I have filled and filled again. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I hope you can hear me. I'm Kyle Decoyan, and I'm at St. Mark's Church, where I'm going to be for the rest of the night. We're offering sanctuary space for anyone who needs it here, who's coming out of jail or who may still be out on the streets after the 8 p.m. curfew in New York. And I'm going to read one poem, which is called Money. I push you from one place to another place, and you hit me just the way I want you to. I like to wear the filth of it. Glut I am for worth, the symbol little pain pig that I am. groveling at the altar. You are history, a fairground, prison, and bordello time. You are persona. You don't get to be just anybody through some do unto others hat trick. Not a single person without desire wants violence, need, or boredom. I suppose you could be a skosh less verbal, could hardly darling me more softly. I could never have enough a function, seeing as I do most clearly when I am reflected in your eyeball. Morning is a strip receding on the platform, mindless and erotic as a jellyfish twitch. You are what I say and vice versa, and there is nowhere we can either of us be more without a deprivation. Where did you come from? Exchange or account? Claptrap, immiserator, tautological oil, you bear me, I throw you at no one in particular. Garbage, I am hot for you, a jackhammer twisting in the dirt. I make myself a gash to make you. There is nothing I can do that changes what they will do to you, or with, or from. There is no conceivable elimination, ultimate appeasement. Nothing I say undoes the will, no matter how much I reject you, acquire, dispute the substance you compose of me. Only through complete abjection am I free of obsession, addiction to get ahead, decorum, unmoored at last from lack is the parabola where the grabbing stops, the body's loss, from which jubilee in the future. I came here to tell you there was no use for you any longer. We criminalized value. Then we forgot crime as a classification of behavior. We forgot you entirely. Use was a quality of relation we forgot. In the future, we were governed by collective pleasure. Then we forgot government and were utterly attention. Worship, we were sung, forgetting the drone absolved of time signature, harmonics, and on we were, forgetting, free from force, combustion of the mind into particulate, all particular fear, failure, disappointment, post-corporeal, the vessel and the blood boiling into air between us, kissing, we were breathing and dying from the temporary ecstasies we let go into the depths of one another. Go, we went, we sang, and God was a feeling we gave to ourselves. Thanks.
All right. Seems like we have two more performers for tonight. So before we get to our last two performers, I just want to say, wow, my hair is crazy. I just want to say one more time, thank you to everybody so much for coming and being here. Thank you for being patient with our streams. And thank you to all of these incredible artists for coming together and making this space for us, and in solidarity with Black people in New York, here in Brooklyn, in New York, but across the country and across the world. I think that this is a beautiful moment for us here, as well as a painful one. I appreciate everybody's commitment to this time and space. All right, I'm gonna pull up, we have two more folks. I'm gonna pull up Jake, who's been patiently kind of waiting and working on the things on behind timeline. And then I will have Melody be our final performer for the night. All right, Jake, I can't spotlight you till you start your video. So whenever you start your video, I will put you on. Thank you.
Hello. Hey everybody. Hopefully this is working. I've been behind the stream and my computer has been not doing what I hoped it would. But I hope you've been enjoying. I've been enjoying hearing so many great words tonight from so many different artists in Brooklyn. I'm also coming to you from Brooklyn, from my studio. And I'm just gonna play one song from a song I wrote a while ago, but I enjoy it and I felt like appropriate for the moment. It's possible that the sound is completely off from the
Okay.
studio.
Melody, actually, I'm going to pull you on if you are ready, my dear. I saw you earlier.
I don't know what just happened there.
Hi.
Hello. Crown Heights in Brooklyn, which is my home. I didn't grow up here, but this is my home for sure. And I'm, as everybody here, really appreciative of Susie and Culture Club and this space. Today I've been thinking a lot about being white and what that means and what we can do to respond in this moment and be allies. And I always think of Culture Club kind of as like a call to action. And so I wrote this song today and I'm excited to play it for you guys. And if you can, please donate to Equality for Flatbush at equalityforflatbush.org. They're a great grassroots organization that's doing stuff here in our neighborhood. So please donate if you can. Also, I'm going to try to play quietly because apparently the guitar will maybe be a problem. All right, here we go. We cross our hearts and pledge we're one, and then we kill each other. How can we all be as one when cops kill our black brothers and sisters? It's been going on for far too long. I stand